I don't know why that turned off. I'm just gonna, there we go. So we knew that something wasn't 100% right, and I knew she was sick. I remember that. So I actually, even though he didn't give me a scooter, I did pray to God. I did say, and I did it. I did it for a few days. I remember. I did it every day for a while. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look at me. I mean, I told my counsellor. That's the first time I've ever told her. I told her on, what day was it? Thursday. This is the first time I've ever told anyone about God, except for like 2 other people. So yeah, anyway, so, and she got better, she recovered, and I believe that was God. And even though my family has absolutely no faith, don't want to hear it, don't want to hear any of it, I like to question people in discussions, because I find other people's beliefs and opinions interesting, because that's what makes up a person, right? What they believe in is a lot to do with how they act and how they present themselves, how they treat others. So yeah, I do remember that, and I do remember going, I believe in God, but I didn't do anything about it, and then I was like, oh, God's real. But then I just sort of forgot, and I just didn't do any research. And go through, so then I started to pick up, and I started to have more faith when I got to about 17, and things got really rocky. But this isn't about so much me and my story. This is about you. This is about all of us. This is about how a lot of people are misled by evil. And through my upbringing, from a very early age, I've understood evil, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm not condoning anyone's actions or behavior, because a reason for something is not an excuse. I think I don't even care if I'm being listened to. Now, yeah, reasoning is not an excuse. However, people's upbringing shapes them, and I feel that God has chosen me to be enlightened, and He has been with me this whole time. It's just I haven't been aware of it, and He has given me strength. Even when I used to be suicidal, it was because I internalized everything, instead of most people who externalize onto other people. Very immature, right? But I internalized it. I thought, this is all happening, there must be something wrong with me. There was nothing wrong with me. Well, there was a demon in me. There was nothing necessarily wrong with me, but like other than demonic, evil. And yeah, that just led me to a very dark path. And when I did attempt my life, after I first attempted my life, think I was like 7 or 8, and then next time, do you know what? I don't even know when it first was. I don't even know. It was either 7 or 8 or 12. Those are the numbers that come to my head, but I don't know. I think I might have been a bit older. Anyway, so I attempted a few times, and afterwards, all these friends that I thought I had and that I thought were real and that I thought supported me disappeared. And that is a common theme with selfishness, which is the extent of all evil. Now, because of these selfish people, and I am so grateful for God showing me this. Like, I'm so grateful for everything that I've been through. And I've experienced things like I've been raped multiple times. I've experienced sexual assault and physical assault and a lot of manipulation. And gaslighting. But I am grateful. I'm not. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. It is definitely a very, very hard. These are all like rape especially. That is the most evil thing you can do to someone. If anyone has ever experienced that, please know that you're not alone. And well, and anyone's worst experience is their worst experience. So to them, that is the hardest thing they've been through. Even if their worst experience is dropping paint on their hair or rape, like, so therefore, like, no matter what it is, God is there for you, and you can always message me, and sometimes I don't like going on my phone, so I'm not very good at replying, but I will reply, and I am there for you. But mainly, you need to allow God to be there for you, because when you sort of shut him out, you feel so alone. But when you open that door back up for him, you can finally feel peace, true joy, and true happiness. And I think, yeah, so I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. They were horrible things to go through. However, I am grateful that through God, he has guided me to realize that all these little things that little things, little or big, are patterns, and I have realized, and it has made me who I am today. And I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back in time. If I could, I wouldn't. Backwards time travel in our dimension, I don't believe is possible. But I wouldn't go back, because I am so grateful for my life and for who I am. Sit with yourself and just think and listen and ask questions, because you're talking to God. Every time you ask a question, it is answered. Do it right now. You answered it, right? Well, you or God. Your voice, the sound of your voice, but it's God. What I think I mainly want to talk about is how people say, well, like my family, well, this is their argument. So for them, atheism, they ask the question and they sort of get angry whenever God is mentioned, because they also get very upset, because they're like, it's homophobic, or it's racist, or it's this. That is what evil, that's what Satan has made you believe. Because if you think about it, and I don't want to be homophobic, but a woman and a woman cannot procreate. So therefore, if that is something where, or a man and a man, that's something where that's a biological error. And I'm sorry, but survival of the fittest, you wouldn't, that animal or population couldn't keep rejuvenating. And I know people use other animals, they say, oh, but seahorses give birth and they're men. Yeah, that's a seahorse. Like, that's like me going, oh, well, male lions eat their cubs. So, yeah, see? Animals aren't evil. Animals survive. Humans are animals, but humans, evil, can be evil. Evil is selfishness and ego. And that is something that you have to, that's why you have to go on this journey yourself. You can't destroy an ego through fear. It doesn't work that way. You have to build it through trust. Now, yeah, they would say, if God is real, prove it. They were like, technology's been around for so long, wouldn't there be a photo of him? Okay. No. The truth is, true good doesn't need to tell you how good it is. True good doesn't have to flaunt about and take selfies with people to say, I am God, I am real, I am here. Because think about it, right? When you see those videos of people helping homeless people on the street, but they're filming them and you're seeing it through a screen, do you think that's a genuine act of kindness? Kindness is done in secret. Kindness is not shared to everyone, because there's a fine line between kindness and exploitation. So the answer is no. You cannot physically prove that, because there is no physical proof of other than the Bible. That is physical evidence. I don't actually have one yet. I need to get one so that I can highlight it. I'm so excited to highlight it. I think it's okay to highlight, right? Now, you can, however, if you allow him in, you can feel him. You can feel his presence. You can feel him in your soul and in your heart. And every time I think of God and think of my faith, I get shivers up my head, but like good ones, like it's happening right now, I'm shivering. I have goosebumps. I don't know if you can even see that. Yeah, I have goosebumps, see? Because that's him, right? That is God. That's my cat. Please don't delete this. That's my cat. Now, the paradox is, you might not be able to say, here's a photo of God, here's a this, here's a that, right? I mean, there's the outfit that Jesus wore before he was crucified. There's a crucifix. Those things are real. Those things are visible to the human eye. However, you don't have to be visible to be real, and we know that, because when I was struggling with anorexia, I'm not going to say the weight. I was very, very underweight, very skinny. I look back because I took photos all the time because I didn't believe what I was seeing was, like, my brain changed what I was seeing, and that is exactly how manipulation works, because I manipulated myself because I wanted control over myself, because I felt that I had no control anywhere else. So I controlled food, and I controlled, just my mindset. And I tell you now, I looked like I had come out of I looked like I was in a concentration camp right before the end. I was on death's door. I felt horrible every single day. I was so obsessed with food. I would watch, I don't know how many thousands of videos of like Nikocado Avocado. Actually, don't even like him. Eric the Electric that I watched. I've watched every single one of his videos, actually. I actually quite like him. He's quite funny. Now I'm thinking in my head of all the quotes that he said. I'm not trying to push that. But I'm trying to explain how your mind is very powerful. Your mind is so much more powerful than you think. Now, every time I looked in the mirror, I saw myself as obese, overweight. I saw myself as really fat. It's still hard for me to look in the mirror because that is a form of neurodivergence. It's a change in your brain. Now, our brains are actually, I forgot the word, it starts with P. They are constantly changing and evolving. Your memories aren't your memories. Your memories are how you perceive your memory within the context of how you were feeling within the exact moment that you remember that memory, if that makes sense. So if I fell over 3 weeks ago and I'm really sad and I feel really embarrassed for whatever reason right now, then I'm gonna have a different interpretation of when I fell over, and maybe at the moment I found it, at that moment 3 weeks ago I found it funny, but now I might be like, I'm embarrassed, I was humiliated, I feel sad about it, because that's what I'm feeling right now. Now, what I really wanted to get into was how, right? I cannot explain it more. I am trying to get my words out in the best way. So, God doesn't need to tell you how great or how wonderful he is. He doesn't need to lie to you and manipulate you. He doesn't, right? He gives you the choice. You have choices. You have, you have free will, basically. As a human, you have free will. To an extent. Obviously, everything is affected by everyone, but you have free will. You can make choices. You can decide to walk out the door right now of your house if you want to. You have freedom of choice, just not freedom of consequence. There we go.